Hi everyone, so I hope you can all hear me. I'm not sure if you can see me at the moment. There's a couple of issues with getting my camera on, but hopefully everybody can hear me now. So thank you to Katie for that information about your personal statements. I'm going to tell you a little bit now about how to apply to UA92 and how to access student finance for UA92 as well. So there are two ways that you can apply to UA92. Your first way is directly to UA92, and the second way is through UCAS. So the best two options there are for you, direct and UCAS. Direct is for those people who are not currently waiting on any qualifications or waiting on any results from any sort of qualifications. If you've got everything ready and you've got everything in place, apply to us directly, and it's a direct application form you can request from us. And then UCAS is for those people who are working towards their qualifications. Traditionally, that means you're still at school or college, but not exclusively. So if you are still at school or college, you'll probably want to use UCAS. If you're out of education, you can still use UCAS. So that's an important point to make. So we're going to start with applying directly to UA92. So if you're looking to apply directly to UA92, you've got to already hold all of your qualifications and not be awaiting any results, like I said. And you can't already have a live application in the UCAS system. So that's quite an important point to make there. You can't sort of sneak an extra part into an application, an extra application in, sorry, by doing a direct one. But if you have no live application in UCAS, you can apply directly to UA92. A direct application still requires a personal statement and a reference. So everything that Katie's just explained to you is still perfectly relevant if you are applying directly to us, and we'll still require the personal statement and reference. And all the UA92 courses are eligible for direct applications as well. So it doesn't matter which course it is that you're interested in, you can still apply for a direct one. A direct application has no fee. So I'll explain the charges for UCAS applications, but a direct application has no fee. So if you think this might be the kind of approach you want to take, get in touch with myself or a member of the team or any of our social channels, and we'll be able to provide you with a direct application form. So if you're still in school or college, or if you're applying via UCAS outside of school or college, like I said, that's still doable. You would apply through UCAS. So UCAS is the University and Colleges Admissions Service, sorry, would help if I knew the name of it. And it's an online system that is used for applying to every university, basically. So it's traditionally used by school and college leavers, but like I said, anyone is able to submit an application through UCAS. You don't have to be in school or college at the time. So on UCAS, you can apply for between 1 and 5 universities in UCAS, and the costs are outlined as follows. So a single choice costs £20, and this means that you can apply to only one university. Should this be unsuccessful, you'd then need to pay another £5 to go into extra or into clearing, which I'll explain briefly in a moment. Alternatively, you can pay £25, and that gives you up to 5 choices. So that means you can have 5 choices in the main cycle application stage, and there's no extra charge should you then want to go into UCAS Extra or UCAS Clearing. So what goes into a UCAS application is very similar to what goes into your direct application. So everything like your personal details, your education history, your predicted grades from your current subjects, the courses and the universities that you want to apply for, obviously, your reference and your personal statement. So apologies if you've already applied through UCAS and you know all this information, but obviously we've got some people here who haven't yet, so they'll want to know a little bit more about that. The main thing to remember is that you have options via UCAS. You can apply to 1 university or up to 5, and following that 5, you can then look to go further as well, which I'll explain here. So important UCAS dates to remember. So as Gareth mentioned before, that first date that says there, the 29th of January 2021, usually that says the 15th of January. However, given everything that's going on at the minute, that has been extended to the 29th. And that date is what's called the equal consideration deadline. So the equal consideration deadline is often referred to, sometimes wrongly, but it's often referred to as the main UCAS deadline. So the first thing to point out with that is it doesn't matter if you've not applied to UA92 or to a variety of other universities by that point. You can still apply to universities. That deadline simply means that that the university you've applied to has to give equal consideration to every application for every course submitted before that deadline. So there's no bias in terms of when the application was submitted. If you submitted it as soon as applications opened back in September, October time, or if you submit it the second before the deadline closes on the 29th at 6 p.m, they'll be considered equally. If you apply after that date, that's when universities can start to prioritise. But the important thing to remember is that you can still apply after that 29th of January date. The 11th of February is the next important date on there, and that is when UCAS Extra opens. So UCAS Extra is for people who've used all 5 choices in the main cycle, but aren't holding any offers and want to add a new choice. So basically, if you have made your 5 choices, but either you haven't received any offers on them, or you've rejected those offers, or you've been declined and you think, actually, I still want to go to a different university, that's when you can start adding extra choices one at a time. You've got to have no offers, be holding no offers, sorry, before you can move into that stage, but it's a dead straightforward process if you want to move into UCAS Extra. The next date on there you'll see is the 30th of June. So the 30th of June is a point where all applications received after this date are then automatically entered into clearing. And you can use clearing if you didn't receive any offers, or you received none that you want to accept. You didn't meet the conditions of your offers, or you've declined your firm place. So if you apply after that point, or if any of those apply to you, you can then move into clearing, and clearing opens officially on the 5th of July, which is the 4th date you can see there. So clearing, some of you may know, some of you may not know, clearing is the point where you can contact universities directly to see what vacancies they have on what courses. So the best way to go through clearing, the best thing to do to access that is to give us a call. All our numbers and email addresses and everything like that for clearing will be all over everything a little bit nearer the time. If you've got any queries about that in the meantime or before that, obviously just drop us a line and we'll be more than happy to get in touch. So I've put together 4 sort of UCAS top tips. So similar to Katie having her points before about personal statements, I thought I'd put together 4 UCAS top tips for you. So the first one is do your research. So research the course you want to do, the unis you want to go to, whether they have a COVID plan in place, anything like that. Just do your research. Take your time. There's still plenty of time. You've got basically till the end of this month to get to that equal consideration deadline. Even if you miss that, don't worry. There's still plenty of opportunities to apply after that date. But step 1, do your research. Number 2, speak to people, whether that's your friends, your family, your college, universities, schools or colleges, whether it's colleagues at work, whether it's wellbeing services or anything like that. Speak to people. There's tons of people out there who are happy to help, including myself and all the guys at UA92. So give us a call if you've got any questions, anything like that. Please don't think that any question is a stupid question, because that's not the case. We're more than happy to answer any question that you have. And if you want something explained to you in the simplest possible terms, we're more than happy to do that, because we all know how complicated these things can be. And there's lots of acronyms and things like that. So get in touch with us. Third one, keep track of those dates. So those 4 dates are important, but also there are various dates that apply to you depending on when you submit your application. The best thing to do is go into the UCAS website and just search for the UCAS calendar. And that has all the dates on there, because there's important dates that you've got to respond to offers by based on when you apply and things like that. So it's important, get those dates on the calendar, stick them in your phone, set yourself a reminder, something like that. Just keep track of those dates. And my last top tip on UCAS would be to stay calm. There's nothing on a UCAS application or on a university application or a direct application that can't be sorted. What I would say is all of these points as well apply to direct applications, other than sort of cut-off dates and things like that for now. But yeah, definitely stay calm. Whatever happens with your application, we'll be able to figure something out between either ourselves and yourself, or you can speak to friends and family and they'll be able to help. So that last one, I would certainly say is a big one. Just stay calm. Whatever happens, we'll be able to sort something out with you. So I'm going to move on now to student finance. So it's a sort of a whistle-stop tour on UCAS and how to apply to UA92. And we're now going to have a little bit of a chat about student finance. It's not a particularly glamorous subject. It can be quite a confusing subject. So hopefully I'm going to break it down for you here and make it a little more understandable for you. So if you are looking to self-fund, so that means you're going to pay your fees and everything yourself, that's absolutely fine. We can sort that out, and the payment plan's available for things like that. But the majority of students look to go through student finance. So what are you going to need to pay for at university? If you decide to study away from home, your three biggest outgoings are going to be your tuition fees, your accommodation costs, and your living costs. They're the main three. The cost for UK undergraduate students at UA92 for 2021 entry is £9,000 per academic year, and that's for the 3 years of your full degree, or £9,000 for the 1 year of the certificate of higher education. The important thing to remember here, and again, is often a sort of misunderstood, is that you do not need to have £9,000 per year ready to pay to UA92 from your personal bank account. That's not the case. Most students will choose to take out a student loan to cover this. That loan is paid directly from the student loans company to UA92. So you have to do the application, obviously, for that, which we'll go through shortly. But that money goes straight from the government, the SLC, the student loans company, to UA92, effectively just with your name on the top of it. So you don't need to have that money there, sort of in your bank account. The other parts are your accommodation and your living costs. So that's where you can look to apply for maintenance loans and maintenance grants and things like that. So those ones are what are called means tested. So means tested basically means that it's based on evidence that you submit to the student loans company, such as household income and things like that, that they will then decide on how much you are awarded in as part of your loan. Those, similar to the rest of it, are paid back. And I'll explain how that works shortly. So how to apply for your student finance? You apply online using the Student Finance England website. So it's www.gov.uk/student-finance. That's the best place to go and start. You don't need to wait till you have your results and your grades to apply. That's an important thing. So the applications actually open soon, usually about February, March time. So you can actually start an application and get the legwork done beforehand. So then when it comes to results time and things like that, you've got a lot of it done already. A whole application can take up to around 6 weeks. So give yourself plenty of time. Don't leave it to the last minute. And the good thing to know is that if you complete an application, but then you change your mind on which university you want to go to, you can get in touch with them to just change the course and change the university. So it's worth just having a look and having a little look through the information on there. Eligible UK students can apply for a maintenance loan. Again, like I said, that's through student finance, and that's of up to £9,203 per year, or £7,747 if you're living at home per year. So that money is, like I said, what you would traditionally use to help cover accommodation costs and living costs and things like that. And that is what is called means tested. So like I said, that's based on things like household income. If you want to get a rough idea of what you might be entitled to, there is a student finance calculator on that website that will give you a rough idea based on the rough figures you can submit. Obviously, when you put the exact amounts in, it'll update to the exact amounts, but you can get an idea of the sort of money you'd be looking at. Repayment of both sums, so your course loan, your tuition fee loan, sorry, and the maintenance loan combine into one payment. And they both come out of your salary that we'll go on to and explain shortly. Your maintenance loan is paid to you in 3 installments throughout your academic year. So what I'd say is, if you're not the best at budgeting, get in touch with our wellbeing service, and they're really good at helping out with all sorts of things, including things like budgeting. They can help you sort of plan through the year and make that money sort of last you through your year. So paying back the loan is often something that people want to know how that works. So what I've done is put together a bit of information here. So repayments are made automatically through the tax system. So payments will depend on the amount you earn over the threshold during any given pay period. So that threshold, which we'll go into a second, basically once you're above that, you start paying the money back. And you don't have to make the payments yourself or anything like that. The repayments come out of your salary, just like your national insurance and your income tax and things like that. So the amount you pay back is 9% of your income you earn over the repayment threshold of £2,214 a month. That's before tax and other deductions. So that means you're not actually going to start paying anything back until you're earning more than £26,568 per year. Once you're over that threshold, that's when you start making repayments, but you're only repaying money back that is over that threshold. So we've got an example for you in a second. So you'll repay your loan, whether you're an employee, whether you're self-employed or whether you're overseas, and you'll start paying it back from the 6th of April, the year after you graduate. So they give you a bit of time to get yourself sorted before any payments begin. Even if you get to that 6th of April, but you're not earning over the threshold, you won't start paying anything back. So an example of that, sorry, let's go back there. An example of that I've got here, say for example, you earned £2,500 a month. So that's the equivalent of £30,000 per year. You'd repay, that's pre-tax as well, you'd repay 9% of the £356 that is above that monthly threshold. So that £356, you'd only be paying 9% of that, not 9% of your whole salary. So you'd be paying about £32 back per month. Any more on top of that, obviously, the more you get above that threshold of £2,214 a month, you'd still only be paying 9% of that, not 9% of your salary. So when you break it down like that, it is very manageable. So it's a very short sort of trip through UCAS and direct applications and things like that. So if anybody has any questions about student finance or UCAS or anything like that, either put them in the chat, and I can see a few have come in regarding courses and things like that. If anybody has anything particular about student finance or direct applications or UCAS or anything like that, feel free to ask them now. If not, and you think of something later, that's absolutely fine. Just drop us a line. You can give us a call. You can tweet or message us or drop us an email, anything like that, and we'd be more than happy to answer those. And that's what we're here for. So that I can see there, Victor, it's absolutely fine. Please ask questions. That's why we're here. We're here for you to get everything off your chest. And like I said, these things can be quite complicated, so please let us know if we can help.